You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a Joplin business owner is stepping up to help homeless folks stay cool during these hot summer days.
Also, the second day of the Republican National Convention had some big names give big speeches yesterday. We'll have the details on what they had to say on the upcoming election.
And we've got thunderstorms across a good portion of the area and some flash flooding concerns as well. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Boy, we had a loud start to the morning
Certainly
out there.
Did.
A
Yes.
lot of heavy rain, some flash flooding concerns, and we're going to break down all the details on that here in just a moment. But leading up to this, we've had that dangerous heat to contend with.
Yes, we have. The Always Buying Books bookstore in Joplin is helping people stay cool during those high temperatures.
The owner of the store says he wants to help the community stay safe in the heat by providing free cooling towels and water.
KOAM's Melissa Alexis has the story.
We have access to it and we think everyone should, be able to at least cool down some because it's so hot. That's just something little that we can do.
Always Buying Books bookstore in Joplin is helping people stay cool and hydrated during the high temperatures lately. They're helping the community by handing out 90 cooling towels along with water bottles that the community can take and distribute.
We see people out on the streets. We saw a need and we've looking online, we found these towels and we thought that'd just be perfect.
This organization has communities who may be most vulnerable to heat on their minds, such as houseless people. That's why they're making it their goal to hand out as many cooling towels as possible, all for free.
Terrible with this heat. I'm at my age, I can just stay out just a few minutes. And I just imagine there's probably people on the street my age or close to it, and it's dangerous, very dangerous.
Elise Foley is a manager at the store, and she says she's seen firsthand how dangerous the heat can be for people who don't have shelter.
Just so hot, being dehydrated, being too hot, if they don't have, someplace they can go to get out of the heat. So this, just a little way of helping them.
Wolf and Foley say that seeing people in need makes them more passionate about helping others in any way they can. Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
You can find more information on where to find cool area cooling centers on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com.
And we've had a few rounds of dangerous heat since the summer began. Thankfully, we are looking at below normal temperatures for the next few days, which will be a welcome relief for many. We're also getting some thunderstorms this morning. Let's start with a look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin. It is cloudy, it is wet, it is rainy out there. Still some thunderstorm activity. Our camera 7 to the range line also showing those dark skies and the rainfall continuing across the area. Not nearly as heavy as it was down in Joplin this morning, but there are still some areas of heavy rain out there. MoDOT camera 20th and range line, again, also considerably calmer than what we had earlier this morning as this main complex rolled through and lifted to the north. Then it merged with new development and now it's starting to shove off to the south and east. But you can see we also still have some areas of moderate to heavy rainfall south of Joplin, the Osho, Miami, probably getting in on some of that heavier rain, and then just moderate rainfall stretching all the way back through northeastern Oklahoma and back into Monette, Cassville, Pineville down south. Some of our friends off to the south and east are dealing with considerably more dangerous flash flooding concerns out there. Marion County, Arkansas, for example, there's a flash flood emergency. Law enforcement down there reporting a number of bridges washed out. A lot of crossings are closed. There's water into homes and businesses, and they're asking residents to evacuate to higher ground. So they've received upwards of 11 to 16 inches of rain down there. And we can take just a really quick look. You can see they're right about this zone here, and thunderstorms just continue to train over and over and over in that area. So dealing with some serious concerns there. We do have flash flood warnings for Cherokee, Jasper, and the extreme northern portion of Newton County this morning as well. So do keep that in mind as you're traveling. Watch out for those areas that are susceptible to flash flooding. As we enter the afternoon, still some question, but we could see some additional isolated to widely scattered thunderstorm development along the Kansas-Oklahoma border and along and south of I-44. I believe most of us will be dry. We'll be clearing out as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. Temperatures this morning, not bad. Stockton was the warm spot. Now they're down to 70. Got 75 Yates Center as the warmest spot out there right now. Most of us now seeing even upper 60s and low 70s. As we go through today, below average temperatures, low to mid 80s. So it's still warm. Don't get me wrong. I'm not crazy. I know 80s are still warm, but that's below where we're supposed to be. Still could see a couple isolated showers or storms out there for some of us. Otherwise, mostly cloudy most of the day. And then we'll start to see the clearing overnight. And this first round of showers and storms should wrap up by about 11 o'clock, noon at the latest. That's a quick check of your forecast. We'll have more details on the forecast and some additional rain chances out there here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Abortion advocates in Arkansas are suing the state for rejecting petitions for a ballot measure to scale back the state's ban on the procedure. Arkansans for Limited Government is asking the state Supreme Court to reverse a decision by Secretary of State John Thurston not to count signatures submitted by their petitions. Thurston's office says the group didn't submit required documents related to the paid signature gatherers it used, but the group says it did. The petitions aim to add a constitutional amendment question to the ballot to prohibit laws banning abortion in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy and adding exceptions for later terms. Well, Southwest Missouri authorities are investigating the drowning of a child. A 4-year-old girl was found unconscious in a home swimming pool in Marionville, Missouri, Monday night. First responders tried to revive her at the scene, but the girl was later pronounced dead at the hospital in Aurora. The police department says there is no indication of wrongdoing, and the death appears to be a tragic accident. The Girard, Kansas Public Library closed a chapter on another edition of its summer reading program. The 6-week event began in June, and yesterday the library celebrated the top readers and participants in 3 programs: adult, young adult, and children. They handed out awards to the participants who read the most out of each category.
I read Half Upon a Time. It's like about a guy who, it's basically all the fairy tale characters, but it's not the right story.
So we obviously as a library encourage everyone to read, and it's a great thing for the kids to continue reading throughout the summer so they don't fall back on what they gained throughout the school year.
The celebration concluded with an appearance from the Girard Fire Department as well as snow cones. Day 2 of the Republican National Convention featuring senators, House members, reality TV stars, and one of Trump's top VP contenders and former primary opponents.
On the second night of the Republican National Convention, former President Donald Trump arrived just in time to watch his prior primary opponents prove their loyalty. Former South Carolina governor and former UN ambassador Nikki Haley was a late addition to the program.
Take it from me, I haven't always agreed with President Trump.
When she suspended her campaign, she did not immediately pledge her support to Trump, but she's now urging voters who are still uncertain to get on board.
I'll start by making one thing perfectly clear. Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period.
Another 2024 primary challenger, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, is also calling for party unity.
Let's send Joe Biden back to his basement, and let's send Donald Trump back to the White House.
Sitting next to Trump in the crowd, his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. Just a day after learning he was not selected to be Trump's running mate, Senator Marco Rubio praised the ticket.
President Trump has not just transformed our party, he has inspired a movement.
Vance will speak at the convention on Wednesday. Reporting in Milwaukee, I'm Julia Benbrook.
And those are our top stories this half hour. Coming up next, a representative from the Kansas State Research and Extension Office joins us this morning, inviting you to the Stay Strong, Stay Healthy classes. And later, a Texas chef is using her skills to serve those in need in her neighborhood. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Valerie Stone from the Kansas State Research and Extension Office is with us this morning, and she's here to invite you to the Stay Strong, Stay Healthy class that is coming up. Welcome to you. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We're happy to have you. So talk to me about these Stay Strong, Stay Healthy classes that are starting in August, and just tell me a little bit about what it's all about.
Okay, well, the program actually was modified at the University of Missouri Research and Extension. And K-State has been putting this program on for a few years now. It's a very popular program.
Oh, wonderful.
Stay Strong, Stay Healthy is a research-based 8-week evidence that you can build strong muscles and that it improves your overall health.
Okay, yes.
It is for older adults, both men and women. And it is a strength training program. So we do exercises and we work on our form to make sure we're doing them correctly.
Okay, yes.
We'll start out doing some stretching, and then we'll move into the exercises, and then we'll do a cool down. On the exercises, we can add weights. We usually keep the program a little bit on the small side, 20 or less people, so that we could really give them our individual attention.
Absolutely important.
Yeah, because it's instructor led, and so we do take our time with them. One person may need to stand up and do the exercises. One person may need to sit down.
Yes.
We can modify it so that they're still doing the perfect form.
Absolutely.
It is going to be on August 6th in Fredonia at the courthouse in the basement. It'll be in our what we call our meeting room, which is a large size room where we can do the workouts. And it is going to be every Tuesday and Thursday for 8 weeks. So it's going to go all the way through the end of September. And it is from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. The first 2 sessions may run over a little bit. We do have paperwork and assessments. Anyone that's interested, we encourage them if they have any concerns to get with their doctor and make sure that they are released to be able to do these exercises. But again, we work at their pace. It is normally $20, but we are partnering with the Area Agency on Aging, and so we are able to offer it for only $10.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's a one-time registration fee.
A one-time registration fee of $10. And when is the sign-up deadline for these events?
So the deadline is going to be July 23rd, and by 5 p.m. And we're just really excited. We want as many people, they can call the Fredonia office, 620-670-8474. And we would just love to have them. But call the Research and Extension office in Fredonia to sign up, and the fee can be paid the first day.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Valerie, for being with us this morning and sharing all that wonderful information. And we'll, of course, have that later on this morning on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:17. Coming up on 7:18 now on this Wednesday morning. We're starting to see rain start to gradually ease up across the area. We still have flash flood warnings, Cherokee, Jasper, and the extreme northern portion of Newton County through 11:30 this morning. Got a lot of rainfall out there and still dealing with some. Now back into southeast Kansas, we're zooming in here because earlier we had some showers and storms as far north as Erie and Fredonia and Howard, but those have since kind of broken up, and we've just got a few light showers right along the state line out there. On the Missouri side, though, still dealing with some heavier rain around Greenfield, starting to let up a bit in Lamar. Some moderate rainfall, Joplin, Columbus, Carthage, Mount Vernon, Monette. And back into northeastern Oklahoma, still some heavier rainfall across Ottawa County right now, including Miami and I-44 down toward Veneta and the Wada Lenapaw out there. But again, beginning to ease up, not nearly as many lightning strikes as we saw earlier either. Rainfall around the region, we've picked up some fair amounts now, but this complex is just kind of slowly dragging across parts of southwest Missouri, seeing anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain in the warned areas. What it is while it doesn't look like it was a lot of rain initially, it was upwards of about 2-3 inches of rain. It came down in a very short time. That's what led to the flash flooding concerns, and even upwards of 5 inches of rain in parts of northeastern Oklahoma. So all of this Whole complex still slowly drifting off to the east, but as you can see, it's been winding down a bit across parts of southeastern Kansas. We could see some additional thunderstorms. Model data is still kind of chewing on it, but we could see some scattered storms later this afternoon along Kansas-Oklahoma border and say along and south of I-44. These would be isolated to widely scattered at best with timing between say 3 and 7 p.m. The rest of us, though, are going to be drying out and gradually beginning to clear out as we head into the overnight hours, and we've got a fantastic Thursday shaping up for us as well. Quick look outside. Our camera 7th and range line. Still some rain falling. 70 in Joplin. North breeze at 10, so the wind's considerably calmer compared to where they were with these storms earlier this morning, pushing upwards of about 50 miles an hour. Temperature's not bad. Most of us, we got some upper 60s, low to mid 70s, 75 Yates Center, 76 in Chanute as a couple of the warmer spots out there, but still not bad. Scattered showers and storms from this activity continuing through about 10 a.m., 11 at the absolute latest. Will be upper 70s by late morning. Heading into the afternoon, again below normal highs across the area as we go low mid 80s, mostly cloudy skies, and again maybe some additional isolated storms out there. No severe weather is expected. We haven't had any. We've had strong storms, but we haven't had any severe storms, and we're not anticipating any with that possible redevelopment this afternoon into the early evening hours. Skies again will clear as we go through the evening and overnight. Mostly clear tonight and considerably cooler temperatures. Much more manageable upper 60s out there. Might be able to give your AC a break. And even though it's going to be warm, we're going to be below normal. Our average high this time of year is right about 90 degrees. So we are below normal. Mid 80s tomorrow and Friday. Sunny skies, more clouds building in on Saturday. Ahead of thunderstorm chances Sunday through Tuesday. And that knocks temperatures down back into the low to mid 80s out there. And as we head into the rest of next week, we'll get close to average again by Friday, hitting about 90 with some increasing clouds ahead of the next weekend as well. So still some storms to watch this morning. Be aware of that flash flooding concern out there. Remember, if you know your route takes you through an area that's prone to flash flooding, maybe consider an alternate route this morning as you get your commute underway. That's Check Your Forecast. We are back with more right after this. Well, the greater Houston area continues to clean up from Hurricane Beryl, and in the extremely challenging time, Good Samaritans have emerged to help those in need.
Zach Tawatari spoke to one woman who is doing what she can to help her community, one plate at a time.
In the midst of the aftermath, plenty is out of place.
They had to get a tractor to pull that tree.
But in her Baird Station kitchen,
when I make it, it'll stay hot.
Takara King says she's right where she needs to be.
I'm like, okay, well, I have food, I can cook.
On the menu tonight,
spaghetti, I have corn, I have some smothered green beans.
Even dessert.
I even bought cake, you know, hey, my sweet tooth.
Despite taking damage herself, the lights at Takara's home are on, unlike many of those around her. But what she's generating is something brighter. This food isn't for her or even her next of kin. The private chef and caterer has taken it upon herself.
Everybody knows me for cooking, so why not cook for the elderly? And then I cook for the kids after that.
To feed her community.
It's like one big old family.
And days after Hurricane Beryl left a wake of destruction in its path, word has gotten out. Takara's family,
I mean, it's not much she wouldn't do for other people.
And friends lending a hand to her cause.
We put on everybody to help each other.
As they go door to door, delivering a hot meal with a warm smile.
Everybody get together and help on a troop, right? That's
What does it make you feel like when you see the reaction from one of your neighbors?
I love it. Like, cooking to me is my form of showing you that I love you, I care for you.
The work appears to be nowhere near done.
But it's trees everywhere.
But Takara is prepared to keep her stove hot with 3 different meals a day.
If you remain positive, that's going to make them feel a little bit better about their day.
Proof that in every disaster, there are different powers at play. The kind that Mother Nature both hands out and takes. And then there's the kindness of thy own neighbor.
I feel like kindness is actually stronger because the hurricane is temporary. People are going to always remember who was there to help them during their worst times.
King has already served more than 80 meals to those in her community.
Wow, certainly great to see her using her skills to help serve others in a time of need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, coming up, new details are emerging on how Saturday's gunman evaded security during Trump's rally in Pennsylvania.
And we've still got a few scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. Might see a couple more this afternoon. We'll have another look at that forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time is 7:29. I'm Elise Noe. Southeast Kansas law officers are investigating a shooting incident that put 2 victims in the hospital. It happened in Independence on the 400 block of West Locust Street Monday night. 2 victims had arrived at different nearby hospitals in private vehicles. Law officers say both victims were involved in the same incident and that the situation was aimed at specific individuals. But investigators are not yet giving further details of what happened or the conditions of the victims. They're asking for people in that area to check their security cameras for evidence. Special Olympics bowlers in Southeast Kansas aimed for a chance to compete at the state level. More than 270 adult bowlers competed in the Southeast Regional Bowling Tournament yesterday at Holiday Lanes in Pittsburgh. It's a chance for athletes with developmental and intellectual disabilities to not only compete, but to come together as a community. The volunteers have almost as much fun as the athletes.
All I like to tell people is come and try out an event. You'll fall in love. We have a lot of repeat volunteers that just love to interact and kind of build those relationships with the athletes. And it's really cool to see them every year, remember each other from year to year.
The state bowling event will be held August 9th through the 10th in Olathe, Kansas. Fair season in the 4 states makes its latest stop in Fort Scott, Kansas. Yesterday, the Bourbon County Fair featured rabbits, poultry, sheep, and goats. And some season exhibitors had their reasons for attending the fair.
I've been showing animals for a long time, so I just joined whenever I could.
My mom signed us up for it.
Seems like a pretty good reason to me. The fair continues through Saturday. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've still got some showers and storms rolling through the area. They've calmed down considerably from where they were earlier this morning. You can see some of that rain off in the distance from our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. Cloudy skies, still dealing with wet roadways and some light showers in the Joplin area. And the Skywatch Storm Tracker still showing where we've got that rain. Now it's cleared out of most of southeastern Kansas. Now it's focused in the southwest Missouri and into northeastern Oklahoma, where we've still got some moderate to heavy rainfall from Greenfield, Carthage, Joplin, Mount Vernon, Monette, Cassville, Pineville, Neosho, now on the southern edges of Miami, Grove, Veneta. And we'll continue to deal with this as this whole system is again progressively sliding to the east, and we are seeing the rain kind of come to a close out there. But again, there's some disagreements on the model data, but there is that possibility of some additional isolated to widely scattered showers and storms later this afternoon, mainly in the southern half of our area between say 3 and 7. Anything we see at this point looks to be relatively isolated, but a couple of stray storms will be possible. Otherwise, we're going to start clearing out and looking pretty good. Temperatures around the region look about like this. We got 69 in Pittsburgh, 68 in Monette, so some upper 60s, low 70s, a little warmer in Chanute, sitting at 76 this morning, but still better than where we've started our days lately. We'll hold on to the remaining scattered showers and storms for a little longer this morning, get that pause, and then maybe some isolated showers and storms late this afternoon into the early evening hours. Temperatures still warm, but below average as we go into the low to mid 80s for our highs today. Temperatures are going to remain below average. They'll still be warm, but below average for the next several days. And we've got some additional rain chances out there as well. We'll talk about all that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise.
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. The timeline is becoming clearer for the attempt to assassinate former President Donald Trump. Newly released details show what the gunman did that day. They also suggest how he got past security. Amy Kiley has the latest.
How does that happen?
New information shows how a gunman evaded security and shot former President Donald Trump Saturday. Law enforcement officials say he'd asked for the day off work. They say he came to the rally with a rangefinder.
It's a device that looks like a small pair of binoculars, but it's used by shooters to measure the distance when they're setting up a long-distance shot.
It's not a weapon, so security let him through.
But they did flag, what does he have this in his hand for?
Investigators say the would-be assassin then exited the secured area. They're not sure where he went, but they think he got a rifle from his car. Climbing on an air conditioning unit is likely how he got on a roof outside the perimeter. That's according to a senior federal law enforcement official.
He's taking the rangefinder and he's looking through it at the counter sniper positions. And one of the counter sniper positions is looking at him through the scope. At this point, there's not a gun in the picture, as I understand it, but they're saying he's looking at us, looking at him.
Another official says that's about when witnesses saw him and alerted police. Video analysis shows the shooting started about 2 minutes later.
I went there to have a nice time with my family, and then the unthinkable happened due to a complete breach and lapse of security.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The director also says before the shooting, agents had thought the secured area around the stage was large enough. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We're going to have some details on how therapy dogs are being used to help firefighters lose their stress when coming back from wildfires. In Consumer Watch this morning, Americans continue to spend cautiously last month. Retail sales were flat in June, and May retail sales were revised going up 0.3%. This is excluding auto sales, as they were up 0.4% last month. For the year ending in June, retail sales are up 2.3%, and retail sales are not adjusted for inflation. Another report says prices of imported goods were flat in June, held down by a drop in fuel prices. However, economists were predicting a decline. 2 U.S. senators want an explanation from AT&T on a recent data hack. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal and Republican Senator Josh Hawley want answers on how its cloud platform was hacked in April to allow illegal downloading of info from 109 million customer accounts. The stolen data included customer calls and text from 2022. And senators say cyber criminals, spies, and others could use customers' private data criminally and even sell it. Amazon Prime Day is here, and along with the best deals, you may also find the biggest scams. Business experts are warning online buyers to be wary of phishing scams. They say to look out for unsolicited emails or calls and for ads on social media that seem too good to be true. It's all aimed at getting you to hand over your personal information. The Better Business Bureau says they received a record number of phishing reports last year, and those reports are trending up so far this year. One Philadelphia restaurant is trying to help its customers and workers beat the heat. Madeline Wright has the story.
Morgan's Pier at Penn's Landing is situated right on the Delaware River with beautiful views of the Ben Franklin Bridge. But for the last few days, this restaurant has been emptier than usual.
Being an all-outdoor restaurant, obviously, people are very hesitant to come down on come out to outdoor restaurants because it is so hot.
Restaurant spokesperson Dana Canalicchio says the business is taking a big hit because of the heat wave. But for customers willing to brave the blistering heat, Morgan's Pier is taking steps to keep them safe.
We have fans, we have misters, and then we set up water stations for all the guests so they can hydrate at their own leisure.
And there are plenty of other refreshing drinks to help keep people cool. Employees are also working shorter shifts to minimize exposure to the heat.
Trying to keep staff motivated. That's a little bit of a struggle, because they're also extremely hot and they have to be in the weather.
On a hot day like this, it's tempting to walk into this freezer, but it's meant for food, not people.
Liberty Garden, which is our newest location located next to Liberty Bell, we did close for the day because there's not a lot of shade down there and it's extremely hot.
Canalicchio says the restaurant is doing the best it can with the hope for better weather soon.
And those are our top consumer stories. Now let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:43 now on this Wednesday morning, and we are watching the rain progressively start to roll out of the area. Still have the flash flood warnings for Jasper, Cherokee County, and extreme northern Newton County through 11:30 this morning. Got a lot of rain in a short amount of time. That's what the flash flood warning is for. Still dealing with some heavy rain. Now back out in southeast Kansas, just a few isolated showers, and we've got one slightly heavier shower getting ready to roll into Coffeyville and South Coffeyville, and that's really about it over there. On the Missouri side, though, let me scoot this a little further to the east. Still some showers stretching back into parts of Cherokee County. Now out of Lamar, Greenfield, Mount Vernon, Carthage, Monette, still getting some heavier amounts of rain. Joplin, it's really starting to ease up for you, and easing up across northeastern Oklahoma. Now still some moderate rainfall right along 60 into Ottawa County and south of I-44, and still some decent rain occurring back toward the west in Nevada and Washington counties, but otherwise it is beginning to come to a close. But we've picked up a fair amount of rain anywhere across the area from 1 upwards of 5 inches of rainfall out there. And then unfortunately for some of our friends down southeast of us, they're dealing with flash flood emergencies down in Marion County. And take a look. So this goes up to the dark gray, which is greater than 10 inches, and we're into a white zone. It's not even on our chart. They received almost 16 inches of rain down there, and so they've had some evacuations, water rescues, bridges washed out down in Marion County, dealing with some significant flooding around the Branson area and Hollister, Missouri as well. So we are not dealing with that same significant amount of flooding, which is good, but nonetheless, if you know your route takes you through an area that's prone to flash flooding, you might want to consider an alternate route this morning, because as you can see, we've had a fair amount of rain. We could see some isolated redevelopment of showers and storms, mainly along and south of I-44 and the Kansas-Missouri state line. Again, the model data is really inconsistent on what may happen, but we could see an isolated storm or two between, say, 3 and 7 in those locations. Otherwise, we're just going to start to clear out, and things are looking pretty good as we head into the overnight and into our Thursday as well. Got a pretty nice day. It's going to be warm tomorrow, but our temperatures will be below average for the next several days. In Joplin, again, still reporting some light rain out there, 70, north breeze at 10, and otherwise, you can see just straight up cloudy skies. Around the area, temperatures looking pretty decent. We've got some upper 60s and low 70s and some mid 70s here and there, so a very decent start to the day for us. As we get our morning underway, again, we're going to continue to deal with these scattered storms. I think the last of this main activity from this morning should be done by 10, maybe 11 at the latest, and will be mostly cloudy otherwise. Upper 70s by late morning. As we head into the afternoon, mostly cloudy skies across the area. Temperatures, again, below normal. It's still warm, but below average. Low to mid 80s. Our average high is about 90, so no, we're not going to complain. We've had a few rounds of that dangerous heat, so this is going to be a great break. And we've put up the thunderstorm chances again. Very isolated chance, but between 3 and 7 could see a couple isolated showers or storms out there. Otherwise, again, skies will continue to clear as we head through the evening hours. We'll go mostly clear and somewhat cool overnight. Might be able to give your AC a break as we eventually make it back into the upper 60s, maybe some low 70s here and there. As we head down the road, again, our below normal temperatures continue. They'll continue to get a little warmer, but they stay below average heading into the weekend. Sunny skies Thursday and Friday. A few more clouds Saturday ahead of thunderstorm chances Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, which will keep our temperatures back into the low to mid 80s out there. Those rain chances will eventually clear out and we'll start to warm up closer to normal, so a bit on the hot side again as we head into next weekend. Temperatures by next Friday about 90. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Firefighters in California needing to decompress after stressful situations battling raging infernos are finding out there's a time to pause with a friend on 4 Paws.
Fox's Zach Sauce tells us about a first-of-a-kind fire assistant named Sadie.
1, 2, 3. Meet Sadie, 1 part yellow Labrador, 2 parts firefighter and hero to her fellow first responders.
They're working incredibly hard on the lines, and they come down in the evening after working for hours on end. And Sadie's here to greet them and try and bring a little joy to their lives.
Christina Gibbs, a San Francisco firefighter and Sadie's handler. Right now they're stationed around 350 miles north of San Francisco in Siskiyou County, where crews are currently battling the Shelley fire.
Her role out here in the fire camp is to aid to the mental well-being of the firefighters coming off the line.
Sadie's official title, Incident Support Canine, a therapy dog of sorts, and her presence here with Gibbs making history.
Sadie is the first canine to be deployed to a fire in California.
To do all this, Sadie had to undergo 1,000 hours of training lasting around a year. Before the wildfire, much of her work revolved around helping those impacted by emergencies in San Francisco cope with the aftermath.
We call it the ultimate icebreaker. So when someone's trying to talk about the critical incident that they just were involved in, sometimes petting a dog just relaxes them enough to be able to speak.
The pup's presence currently proving just as soothing in Siskiyou County.
Some of the comments that are being made to me are, "This is the best thing that happened to me today. I miss my dog. This is the best. I'm so grateful for you to be here."
Among the more than 3,000 crews currently deployed to the Shelley fire, so Sadie's mission not over yet.
I've probably met about a third of them. There's satellite camps out, and I'm probably going to be heading out to those satellite camps maybe at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Certainly great to see that dog, give some extra support to those firefighters.
They certainly
they
need it.
go through a lot. Yeah,
they certainly are, and and service dogs do a number of great things
yes,
for folks out
yes.
there. Well, we've still got some rain to contend with this morning. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us where we've got showers and a couple of thunderstorms here and there. The heaviest of rain now in our eastern counties, and it's progressively beginning to roll on out of here. So Joplin, it's really coming to a close for you. Carthage, Greenfield, Mount Vernon, Monette, Cassville, Neosho, Pineville, and Grove still in the thick of some of the heavier rain. And we've seen some new development trying to take place here south of Stockton. But the low pressure system, you can almost really clearly see the spin down here across north central Oklahoma. We'll eventually drag all of this off to the east southeast. However, again, there's some disagreement, but model data suggests that maybe an isolated storm or two possible along and south of I-44, maybe the Kansas-Oklahoma state line later this afternoon between, say, 3 and 7. Anything we see will be very isolated, but it's a remote chance of an additional shower or storm. Outside of that, we're going to continue to clear out as we head through the evening and overnight hours, and below average temperatures today as well. We're not off to a bad start. Upper 60s, low to mid 70s across the area. And again, our highs below normal, low to mid 80s out there. Again, throwing up that isolated thunderstorm chance later this afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies heading into the evening hours before we begin to clear out overnight. Well, that's a quick check of your forecast. We'll have another look at that, plus the news you need to know when we come back.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Independence, Kansas law officers are investigating a shooting incident that put 2 victims in the hospital Monday night. 2 victims had arrived at different nearby hospitals in private vehicles, and law officers say both victims were involved in the same incident and that the situation was aimed at specific individuals. Law enforcement is asking for people in that area to check their security cameras for evidence. A 4-year-old girl was found unconscious in a home swimming pool in Marionville, Missouri Monday night. First responders tried to revive her at the scene, but the girl was later pronounced dead at the hospital in Aurora. Police say there is no indication of wrongdoing, and the death appears to be a tragic accident. Arkansans for Limited Government are asking the state Supreme Court to reverse a decision by Secretary of State John Thurston. Thurston's office says the group didn't submit the required documents related to the page signature gatherers it used, but the group says it did. The petitions aim to add a constitutional amendment question to the ballot to prohibit laws banning abortion in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy.
After our morning showers and storms clear out, we will be mostly cloudy through the afternoon. Highs below normal, low to mid 80s. We again could see an isolated shower or storm south of I-44 and maybe along Kansas-Oklahoma state line. This chance is very low, but it's there. It's about 10-20%, I'd say, at this point. Skies continuing to clear, though, through the evening and overnight, and nice and cool. Give your AC a break. Upper 60s, low 70s out there. Below normal, but warm temperatures heading into the weekend. Sunny skies tomorrow and Friday. More storm chances Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Back to normal by next Friday. Highs about 90.
Alrighty. Well, loggerhead sea turtle weighing at least 375 pounds was released back into the ocean off the coast of Cocoa Beach, Florida last week. Footage shows crowds cheering on Bubba, who is estimated to be between 60 to 75 years old, as he began making his way to the water.
Biologists with in-water research found Bubba back in April. He was suffering from injuries to both front flippers and an infestation of marine leeches. The massive turtle was brought to the zoo's healing center, where he received treatment. And I'm sure he's very excited to get back out there into the water.
Absolutely.
Well, we want to thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. And of course, remember, turn around, don't drown. Watch out for flash flooding. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.